Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. On this channel, we cut through the hype and the noise, and we give you the non-biased information you can use to capitalize on the next bull run. Guys, I have a plan, and I hope you have a plan. Ask yourself, were you looking to FOMO in? Did you just FOMO in because of all the hype? And guys, it's okay if you did or if you didn't, but here's my question to you. Do you have a plan? If you don't, I work one-on-one as a crypto coach, and we go through your portfolio and we talk about your risk reward, we look at your projects, and we get you a game plan to take profits in the next bull run. If you don't want to take profits, that's up to you. But either way, guys, you got to have a game plan, and you stick to it, and then you can relax, drink a glass of wine, smoke a cigar. Look, there's no reason to panic. This market's not going to run out from under you, and if it does, there's going to be another project and another project coming right behind it. So that being said, guys, we're going to talk about what's going on right now, because I'm 100% convinced at this stage that Bitcoin has put in its low for this bear market. That being said, I am nowhere close to being convinced that it is altcoin season and that all altcoins have put in their low. I believe a lot, and I mean a lot of the ones that we want to stack still have more lows to go. So we're going to talk about all that, guys, and I'm going to share with you what I look at and the way I think. And look, you don't have to agree with me, but just follow along, guys, because I promise you this will be information that will serve you well, not only in this bull run, but for the next bull run. Because, guys, I don't want you to miss the greatest opportunity in history, stacking the wrong coins, buying the FOMO, not taking profits, and things like that. So we're going to talk about all that, and we're going to take a look at a couple of charts. And these charts are basically going to apply to every token you're looking to purchase. That being said, guys, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps us out a lot, and we appreciate it. So let's get into it. Now, guys, the first thing that I want to talk about is if you go back and study pre-halving of Bitcoin, you're pretty much going to notice that there's about a 75% probability that we're going to get a pump, which we're having now, and a pullback is happening every single halving. Now, that means 3 for 3, but now this will be the fourth halving. So you got about, if my calculation's right, about a 75% that we are going to get a pullback. Will it be a pullback all the way to the lows of the bear run? I don't know. But statistically and probability wise, we should get a pullback. So we're going to start with that concept. Now, before I dive into the rest of the stuff, I want to make another statement. At the level Bitcoin is now, I have no doubt it's going to pull back, and it's probably going to pull back to the 30,000, 31, 32, where it had a lot of resistance, and that will become the support. And if we don't have a hard landing or wake up with a stock market down 40% or anything odd, the odds are Bitcoin will probably bounce down to, I don't know, 27.5, 28,000, and that's going to be the low. But if we have hard times ahead, like a recession that no one can deny, and we have issues with the bond market, and the stock market starts to go down hard, and the recession can't be denied, I have no doubt that Bitcoin could easily drop back down to 25,000. I think it could test 20 on the low side, and even, this is my opinion, if we have a black swan event, I don't think it's going to go to 15.8 and break that. Months ago, I said there was a chance, but I think it is so healthy, and with the Spot ETF, I just don't see Bitcoin ever going back to, say, maybe 18 at the absolute low. I could see it going to 20 and maybe breaking that with just a candle or two. But realistically, I personally think no matter what happens in the economy or from here on out, Bitcoin is not going to make a new low. That being said, if Bitcoin goes back down and even gets to 25,000 or starts to test 20, these altcoins will get wrecked even more. Now that is what I'm hoping for. Now that being said, I want to walk you through the process of the way I think and come up with your own conclusion, guys. But it is go time, and it's time to really pay attention and get a game plan. That being said, guys, I coach people one-on-one. It's $250. We go through your portfolio. We get you a game plan. We figure out your strategy that fits your risk reward. And we'll talk about that more at the end of this video. It's only $250, and I think it'll be well worth your time, money, and effort. But again, we'll talk about it at the end of the video. Now, the first thing I look at is Bitcoin dominance. That means the so-called smart money would rather be in Bitcoin than the altcoins right now. And the odds are, guys, for about 95% of all altcoins, the smart money would rather be in Bitcoin. That is a true statement. I'm not going to go opposite of the chart you see on the screen. That is a very strong Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, if you don't understand Bitcoin dominance, I'll leave a link at the end. And I also made a video a while back talking about stablecoins and the strategy of stacking Bitcoin and then roll into your altcoin at the beginning of the altcoin season. I'll leave all three of those at the end. And guys, I highly recommend you watch them. It's a wealth of information. And I was right on. I wish I'd have followed my own advice more so. Anyway, that being said, what you see on the screen is the total too. So that is the Bitcoin dominance, or that's the altcoins without Bitcoin. So if you look at that, that looks pretty good, and you could draw a line there and say that we have had a breakout, that altcoin season started. Okay, you could, because that's the 1 year or year to date chart. But if you look at the 6-month chart, it kind of looks the same way, but bear with me. So let's look at the monthly chart. That looked great. So as of that point, you could say, hey, that might be the bottom and it's a breakout and the start of the altcoin, but bear with me. Here's the weekly. Looks pretty good, but a lower low, lower low. But now, if the daily matched that, you might have a point. But here's the daily. Well, hopefully I can get it to show me. There we go. It's breaking down. Now it's made a good little rally here at the end, but look where it started. If this turns around and has like a 3-4 day rally, that would get my attention. Now I could be wrong, guys, and we're getting close to altcoin season. But I personally don't believe that anything's going to run off away from us. Yes, your injective, render, KAS, guys, they may keep running, but those are the exceptions, and I don't trade based on exceptions. I missed them. All good. Now, I also go look at the bond market, guys. The 10-year bond market is hitting a 16-year high. It's right at 5%. Now, to people in crypto, it doesn't really make sense to even have a conversation about a 5% bond. But guys, put a bunch of zeros behind your portfolio, right? If you got $100,000 in crypto, imagine if that was $1 million. 10 million, 100 million, 100 billion, and you can get 5% with pretty much zero risk, that's going to draw up a lot of liquidity. Stock market's going down, and if you can lock in 5% on $100 million or whatever, the big boys are going to start to really pull money out of the stock market, which is going to make it go down, and put it in safety. And then later put it back in the stock market, or maybe put it into Bitcoin. So that tells me right there that it is not time to start getting hard into crypto. Now, that being said, for anyone, in my opinion, that has a year and a half hold before they start selling, anyone starts dollar cost averaging into some of their favorite projects like HBAR, which we're going to take a look at the chart, you're going to be fine. You're not going to be upset, but you could have maybe done a lot better for your portfolio. And if I can stack 4-cent HBAR as opposed to 5 cents, and $10,000 gets me a lot more, or whatever your amount is, that's what you want, guys. But if you're, I'm not going to say lazy, but let me back up. I shouldn't have said lazy. But what I'm saying is, if you dollar cost average in right now, you're going to be fine. So don't let me talk you out of your strategy if you have one. Now look, this is the year-to-date stock market. A lot of people said it's going to make all-time highs or take out that high right there. And guys, that was substantial. But this fell apart. Lower low, lower low, lower high, lower high. Guys, I think the recession is going to start showing its head. And as it sits right now, roughly, as a rule, Bitcoin is still following along from the stock market. Now, another thing I want to bring to your attention about liquidity and the stock market. Guys, most people are like Michael Saylor, are probably like me and you if you own Bitcoin. I'm not going to sell my Bitcoin. I'll borrow against it in the future. That's my plan. I'll sell every other project I have. 100% of my money will be out of the crypto market at the end of this bull run, except for Bitcoin. Now, but if you understand how the big money works, if someone has a big position in Bitcoin and they're like, I am never going to sell it, but they're also a big hedge fund or whatever, a bank, and they're in the stock market and they're using leverage and the market goes against them, they may not have a choice. So you could get a substantial sell-off even though Bitcoin is extremely healthy, because guys, when they have to come up with the money, they don't have an option. They just got to sell whatever they can get their hands on, and it may be Bitcoin. Dang sure they're risky altcoins. Now, let's talk about XRP, and I'm just using this as an example. I'm going to use XRP and HBAR and Injective just to try to show you when it will be altcoin season, in my opinion. So stay with me, and this is going to be able to apply to any token. Now, if you look at XRP, it's going down. That's the 30-day, guys. And a lot of people might say, well, it's time to go ahead and buy. Well, if you go look at Masari, Ripple is dumping hard and has been all year, and extremely hard since the announcement. There's nothing, in my opinion, going to pump XRP through the rest of the year unless it follows Bitcoin. Now, if you look at Bitcoin dominance, right, if you just have to be in the market, hear me out, and I'm not trying to convince you of either one. I just want you to have an understanding of something. If you would have bought Bitcoin instead of XRP at any time in the last 11 years, unless you bought it just right and sold it, you'd be much, much better off owning Bitcoin. Now, even this year when XRP had that huge announcement, arguably the biggest announcement in crypto in 2023. It basically did a 1x and gave every bit of it back. Now, why would you want to start stacking right here when you can stack Bitcoin? Just in the last week, you would have had a 10% difference in your portfolio. So think about that, guys. If you'd have bought, just in a week, if you'd have bought Bitcoin instead of XRP, there's a $1,000 difference on a $10,000 account. Guys, that's massive. So I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just telling you, and I'm going to show you what you want to see. But now may not be time to stack your altcoins. Now, let's look at HBAR, which if you follow my channel, you know it's one of my absolute favorites and probably is going to be my biggest bag. Depends on how it plays out going into the bull run. But look at this 90-day chart, guys. Yeah, it had a good little bump. But again, we got some unlock coming before now and 2024. So I felt and have always felt all year that any rally for HBAR, as much positive information comes out, it's not going to maintain it because of the tokenomics. Now, the tokenomics don't bother me because of the bulk of their money that they increase the supply with. They put right back into the ecosystem, or it goes to developers. So I'm not concerned about their tokenomics. In long term, it's really going to work out nicely, in my opinion. But as much as I love HBAR, if I just had to be in the market right now, which I don't, I'm going to buy Bitcoin. Look at that. If you look at HBAR compared to Bitcoin, again, in the last month, you'd be down 20%. So if you'd have bought a month ago, if you'd have said, hey, I'm going to buy $10,000 worth of HBAR or Bitcoin, there would be a $2,000 difference in your portfolio. Guys, that matters. So let it bleed. Yeah, it got a pump. It got a pump there. Bled again. It got a pump, a little bit of a pump from here to there the last couple of days, but now it's turned around and it's just bleeding against Bitcoin. So as much as I love HBAR, I'm personally going to let it bleed, and I'm not worried about it taking off without me. Now, what do you want to see? Well, this is injective, and this isn't a massive move, but it way outperformed Bitcoin. So what do you want to see? When you type it in, look at the difference, guys. This is the opposite of the HBAR and XRP chart and the avalanche chart, and pretty much probably your favorite altcoin, except for a few. Look at this. This thing is ripping. So why would you possibly buy Bitcoin as opposed to injective? Now, I'm not telling you to run off, because this could switch just like the other ones could switch. But if you look at all time, it's outperformed at 350%. But let's pay attention to year to date. It's up 423% over Bitcoin. Even today, it's up almost 14%, guys. That's when you know it's altcoin season. So when XRP, Avalanche, HBAR starts to turn the corner and the chart starts to go like this, and then Bitcoin chart starts to go the opposite, it's go time. And that's when you can either swap out of your Bitcoin or your stable coin and really get active and get to stacking. And therefore, your risk is a lot lower. And every day, guys, that Bitcoin goes up against your altcoin, if you own Bitcoin, you're going to be able to get, you're making money, and you're going to be able to buy more of your favorite altcoin. Guys, I'm not here to shield or FUD any project. It's just a timing thing of how the cycles work. Now, that being said, let's think about something, guys. As a rule, probabilities, that's what I go off of, probabilities. Every cycle, Bitcoin takes off and leads the way, just like it is right now. And when Bitcoin takes off, most altcoins are going to follow a little bit. But then when Bitcoin runs out of gas, you got to think, guys, here's why this happens. The big guys have made a lot of money because they weren't buying these altcoins. They were buying Bitcoin with 50 billion, 500 million, whatever it was, real money. So when they've got a 1x, 1.5x, 2x on that kind of money, well, now they're not going to throw it all into altcoins, but they're going to start going down the ladder just like me and you should. A diversified portfolio. You have the least risky, and then you have, say, 10%, 25%, whatever your risk level is, into the more aggressive plays. So the big money, once they milk what they think Bitcoin is for all it has, they'll start taking those profits and roll it into Ethereum, the next best risk reward. Lower risk. They don't care about 1,000x, guys. They are already wealthy. They don't want to lose their big bags. They would rather have a 2x, a 3x, a 7x than a 100x and put all that money at risk. Now, the next step, once Ethereum starts to pump and it becomes the dominant leader, that they're going to start taking the money out and they're going to put it into your XRP, your Quant, your XLM, Matic, and tokens like that. Well, as that progresses, they're going to jump into more like the more aggressive but solid, maybe Sand or GALA. And then as the bull run keeps developing and everyone makes more and more money, they're going to go down the curve. They're going to start buying meme coins, gaming projects, whatever the new hot narrative and the new hot token is. Now, that's basically the game, guys. So you're not going to wake up and gaming, for instance, has done a 15x when Bitcoin still has its dominance. You're going to have clues. That's my opinion. I'm not telling you how to invest. I'm just telling you how the probabilities are going to play out. Now, before I get into my coaching program, I want to say something, guys. No matter what, get a game plan and take your profits, because the number one thing that I have learned from most of my coaching students from around the world is they have taken a little bit of money and they've turned it into some substantial money. A few of them have turned it into life-changing money. And they don't have it. They let it all fall apart, guys. And I don't want that to happen to you. I would rather you go home with a 12x, 15x, or whatever than hold out for that 100x, 1000x, and end up back waiting for the next bull run because you were lied to or you didn't understand. Because, guys, I do this research and I have this channel. I do the research for me, but I give you this information because I want you guys to be successful. Why waste the information? I'm non-biased. I see what I see and I have a financial background and I just want to at least point you in the right direction. And I want you to do well. But guys, you do not have a profit if you don't take it. If you start with $10,000 and it's at $150,000, you don't have it $150,000, guys. You got $10K. That's it. You got the same amount. And if you have a target, for instance, now I'll just use XRP because that has been the one that has wrecked most of my clients. If you're thinking XRP is going to get to $10, $100, $1,000, why would you sell? You're going to hold off. But let me give you a hypothetical and use this across the board. This is not really about XRP. But let's say you're going to hold out for even just $10. But XRP hits 7. And then it pulls back to 5. Then it pulls back to 3. And then it's game over. You missed an entire bull run. You missed a 7-year wait for a new all-time high, and at $7, that would be double the all-time high. And you didn't take those profits? Guys, I don't want that to happen to you. But either way, you got to have a game plan. That being said, it's $250 for my coaching. And what we do is we go through your portfolio, we figure out your risks, rewards, your goals, and we get you a game plan of what projects to stack based on your risk reward, how to dollar cost average in, how to dollar cost average out, how to compare different projects. Because another thing, guys, I see, and I did it myself, a lot of us end up stacking 25, 40 tokens, but they're going to give us the same pretty much upside, right? A lot of these, like the banking tokens, I own every one of them. I had a flawed strategy. My thinking at the time was, well, one of them is going to dominate the banking reset, and whichever one wins, I'm going to own it. Well, I was wrong, guys. Who's going to dominate the banking so-called reset are the legacy banks. Now, I'm not going to get into that, but I wouldn't have stacked all those banking tokens. I'd rather have a diversified portfolio because normally it rolls in and out. The smart money will jump into a narrative. They'll start a narrative. Hey, we haven't pumped DeFi for a while. They'll pump DeFi. Once that gets going good, they take their profit, the retail FOMOs in, and gives them the liquidity. Then they get into the memes. Then they get into the gaming. Then they get into the layer 2s. Then they get into the new projects. So I would rather be diversified in, say, 10, 12, 15 different sectors with one or two coins than be stacked with the same projects with the same narrative, because they're all going to pump together. Anyway, guys, you'll have 3 to 5 phone calls or video conferences. It's only $250 one-time fee. If you have an interest, I'll leave a link I'll pin a link in the comment section, leave a link down below, reach out, and we'll talk about it. Either way, guys, it's time to pay attention. It's go time. And if you feel like you need to FOMO in, hey, I think everyone will be fine dollar cost averaging in right now. I'm not doing it at this moment, but either way, guys, you gotta have a game plan, and hope and listening to the hype is not a game plan. Because, guys, I'm here to tell you, it's going to be a lot harder than you remotely think to really make life-changing gains in crypto. Because FOMO is real, and rug pulls are real, and the pressure that's going to be on you if your favorite token does a 10x, a 20x, are you going to take profits? Where are you going to take profits? When are you going to take profits? Hey, it may go to 100x, but it may not make a new all-time high like XRP and XLM and a lot of different projects last bull run. So, guys, you got to have a game plan. Now, I'm going to give you this one. It's just one of my personal rules. When I get to about a 3x, definitely by the time I get to a 5x, I'm taking out my initial investment, period. Because then, no matter how it plays out, I made money and I didn't lose any money. And there is a big difference between you losing your hard-earned money that you started stacking with and the profits. Big difference. So that's something to think about. That's one of the things we cover in my coaching. All right, guys. That's all I got for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And I want to be clear. I truly believe Bitcoin has made a low and will not make a new low for this bear run. I hope I'm wrong. There's nothing I would like better for Bitcoin to make a new low before this halving, because that would immediately crash the altcoins and we could really get to stacking. And guys, like I said, I'm going to leave 3 videos. At least read the titles at the end. They'll help you a lot. And I want you to really pay attention right now, guys. Don't get out of crypto and don't start selling your bag. But just be careful, because, guys, we're still making higher lows, or the highs are still higher lows, that's right, and lower lows. So, guys, they could just keep bleeding against Bitcoin. We got 6 months to the halving. We could get a huge rally, especially with a spot ETF, or it could pull back and crash, or it could do that 2 or 3 times in the next 6 months. You gotta have a game plan. One last thing, guys. I don't know when that spot ETF is going to happen, but I truly believe it's going to be a game changer. And Bitcoin will never look back after that. But hear me out. If, for instance, let's just say in the next 2 months, Bitcoin's at 42,000, and we get that announcement, here's what I think would happen. If we got that announcement in 2 months from now, Bitcoin's at 42,000, we would probably see 44, 45, 48,000, like immediately, like that day, the next day. And then it would probably come all the way back down to 32. Buy the rumor, sell the news. But then, man, there would be never a better time to start stacking, because once Wall Street starts making those phone calls and start pumping it out to the wealthy retail public, and the hedge funds can start buying Bitcoin and all that, guys, there literally is no upside. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button. Share with like-minded people. Let me know what you think. And guys, no matter what, come back and be part of this community, because it's time to learn. Take care.